Hi guys. So I suppose this is my last video that I'm making to you guys. Somehow that feels weighty. Um, I hope that you all have had a positive experience in the class this semester. And I also hope this is not an actual goodbye so much as just an end of this period of our relationship. I hope that if you ever need anything or I can be of use in some way in the future while you're either in the MSW program or beyond, that you would feel comfortable to reach back out to me because I always really like hearing from you guys. Um, all right, sentimental stuff aside, I wanted to let you guys know that the discussion board 14 is now graded. Your grades have all been entered into the grade book. I have removed the lowest quiz or discussion board grade, whether that's one that you opted not to take or just the lowest grade generally. I've removed those from the grade book, and everything should be reflecting in that weighted grade total as your final grade. And if you have any concerns about that, I'd encourage you to let me know sooner than later, given that I believe grades are due on Tuesday, but I'm hoping to turn them in. I'll wait until Tuesday. We'll say I'll turn in grades Tuesday. That way, in case anyone has any concerns, they can get in touch on Monday and let me know. But I'm hoping everything's okay with your grades because it's been roughly in the same spot that it will be. It's just going to shift maybe up or down, well, hopefully up if I'm dropping a quiz. It'll shift up slightly, but it's in the same zone that it will be for the final grade. All right, I also wanted to just address as one final note in the class. I'd had a question from a student maybe toward the Thanksgiving break time. And I thought it was a really interesting and important question. A student reached out to me asking about how I stay informed or what sources that I use to try to stay informed nowadays. And I thought it was a very straightforward question, but nowadays it becomes very complicated. I hesitate to tell students any one particular source in terms of trying to stay informed, given that there's so much I guess there's so much doubt nowadays as to what's a credible source in the day and age we live in, which is the alternative facts and fake news age, I suppose. It's really dangerous to kind of assume a source is credible and trustworthy. So my simple answer to the student was my go-to sources for my news honestly are NPR was when I'm commuting, which is quite a bit, and CNN I like to have on. It's one of those shows that I can kind of tune in and get some highlights of what's happened in the day. Yet, I kind of put a caveat on that and said, if there's something that I'm particularly interested in, so for example, if you work with a particular population and you hear about a certain issue that might be relevant to that population and you want to know more about that, I would encourage you to consult additional sources. And those sources could be international news sources, they could be government websites, they could be, it could be whatever you choose, but kind of selecting a varied collection of sources is an ideal way to feel comfortable that you're getting good information because it's triangulating your sources. If you have enough sources presenting the same idea or the same story, you can begin to feel more comfortable that you're getting good information rather than just reading one story on Facebook or, I'm guilty of it too. We all see it nowadays. You're like scrolling through, like, oh, well, that's really intriguing. I wonder if this is true. And if you go to actually corroborate it, it might be hard to find other news sources or, facts that support whatever it was on social media that you might have seen. So that's something that would call that information into question. You might not want to trust that quite as readily as information that's being reported on the international level, the national level, on some kind of, nonprofit website. But to this point, because I know it can be kind of overwhelming, I uploaded a document that I'd started in another class, just kind of listing out some different sources that might be useful to look at. This is not an exhaustive list by any means. It's a, place to start type list. So if you guys are ever at a loss for places to look or just want kind of a jumping off point when you're researching for papers or anything, professionally, whatever you're interested in, it might be a good place to start. So you could look over that list and see there are a few different sources with the hyperlinks to go to those sources online. And I posted that in our supplemental materials section today. And along with that, I found a helpful website that the University of Michigan is developing. It seems like it's still under construction, but there's information there right now about how to decipher whether or not something is fake news, which is the name of the game nowadays, because there's so much, that we really can't and shouldn't trust that's out there online. So that might be a helpful source in the future as well. I know I'm going to stay tuned to that website to see what resources I might be able to integrate into my classes, particularly in the beginning, to say, here are some good ways to identify helpful sources versus not helpful sources. Anyhow, if you guys have any ideas about that, feel free to reach out to me because I'm always open to suggestions. But I just want to let you guys know that I did put that there in our supplemental material section. And it's been a real pleasure working with you guys this semester. I want to say getting to know you, and I have gotten to know you. It's just been in a different format. This, adventure in online teaching has been interesting for me, and it's been a big learning curve for me. And I appreciate you guys being patient with me as I kind of work my way through it, and I hope it's been all right on your end. But please let me know what I can do to improve, because I'd like to know. All right. I hope to hear from you soon, and if I don't hear from you before the end of the term, have a happy holiday, a great break, and good luck in the spring semester. All right. Bye, guys.